My peeps, I've been trying to get to this reading for some time, and I've been up since, before the first light by quite a lot, and I still, so that may be reflective of something here of just wanting to start something and not being able to, and that's about it. Oh, the one other thing was, I think somebody else said this too. I mean, like a tarot reader maybe. It's true. Subconscious works on stuff while the frontal lobe brain plots and plans. You may not be able to see the work the subconscious is doing because it's subconscious, but it's processing stuff and bringing stuff to the surface as we're willing to let it come up. That's the whole shtick, basically, of like the Jungian philosophy of how to stay healthy. You accept the stuff as it comes up. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. Because if you suppress it, it's shadow. And then it like bites you in the ass. And it hurts other people. If your shadow is the thing, pulling your puppet, it's sort of devil, pulling your puppet strings. So yeah, I mean, that's enough of that. But let's see how that comes up from the subconscious in this reading. Like, what is the work our subconscious is doing? What's the raw material that deep knowing in us is processing? And in that subconscious, we have we're sharing an energy there. It behooves us to work together because, there is a sort of, in a community, in humanity, what's repressed, what becomes shadow, I mean, that can be really dangerous. It's a thing that says they're the enemy because you've disowned a part of yourself. And when I say you, it's obviously could be you, me, us, them, they, fill in the pronoun. And I wanted, because so often these readings are about cups and connection and the search for connection or the dissolution of a connection. I wanted to ask, just for the first few cards, if you would, think about an important relationship to you. Can be family, can be, your co-workers, your children, well, that's family, a love relationship, a work relationship, whatever it is, just a relationship that's been, for some reason, in the forefront. And the question then is, at least at the beginning of the reading, what's the purpose of the connection? Why this? Why now? What are we supposed to learn? Because that's sort of why we interact in a big way, is to learn from one another. That's how we survive. And loving one another is kind of head and head with learning about them. And learning about ourselves so we don't have the shadow, and you know what I mean? It's dangerous to reject parts of the self. If you're jealous or angry or whatever, you don't need to like totally lean into it. But if you don't feel it and acknowledge it, it goes to shadow. It goes to shadow. Let's see where that leads us. Four of Cups. Let's get a little more. I mean, if we're talking about the relationship you had in mind, somebody's been waiting a long time. Cups are on this character's mind, but it's a disconsolate face. It's like, where is the love you said was mine, all mine? Whoever that was, Diana Ross. Where is the love? Where is the love? That's this Four of Cups person is questioning. And it's about connection. It's Cups energy. Gotta go some more. I'll shut up now. Let the cards talk. I have a note to myself that says exactly that. Let the cards talk. Oh, wow. Okie dokie. First up, Five of Wands. This is a conflict, a struggle, internal or external, often external. You know, no consensus here. You know, it's not really like a fight per se. They're not beating each other to death with their wands. But they're not, there's no cooperative energy. It's like every person for themselves. It's a struggle. And maybe this character's been in a situation where there were people involved, perhaps a lot of people, and everybody had their own agenda. And this Cups person's agenda might have just been, I want to manifest love. Ace of Swords. It's the fresh idea coming into the brain. Coming into this spiral-like, fractal-like, it's a staircase. It also looks to me, it's a descending staircase. It also looks to me like the conch shell. The maze, you know, it's an evocative image. But what's coming in is this light. You know, it's a card of enlightenment, light bulb moment. Gaining an understanding, perhaps about this. Another definition of this card that I like is sort of like groupthink, caring about what the group will think, but also kind of almost hive mentality. Groupthink. A lot of people in the mix, trying to please a lot of people. Bottom of the deck, Devil. We were talking about shadow. Here it is. The thing that has you on the puppet strings. I think I even said that, didn't I? And it's an enticing card, too. I mean, this character is alive. Look, the hair is alive. Extending the hand, you know, making an offer. But it's an offer coming from the place of that you don't acknowledge in yourself, or that this character doesn't. This is Capricorn, but we'll get to, I have great reverence for Capricorn. Their card is this rather confusing, you know, does it mean it means you work hard with your attachments, you recognize them and work to liberate yourself from this kind of puppet energy. You see what codependency is. But this is maybe somebody trying to understand or getting enlightenment about, I have a shadow. There's some sort of humming going on outside. It's like a little song. So there, it's dangerous to deny parts of yourself. You know, it's sort of like if you had a pet or a kid or something who was troubled and worried you. It's Rue snoring. Sorry. Rue's my cat. She makes an appearance here once in a while. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Like Ace of Swords, your shadow. It has a truth to tell you. And the truth has something to do with what you've been trying not to look at. So work with shadow. You know, invite that. It's an aspect of your subconscious that, like we said, is working on things while your daily brain plots and plans. And your dreams process shadow. You know, it's in that dreamscape where it's these external characters. Apparently, it's your nephew trying to feed you a hot, you know, that's a bad example, trying to bake a pie. And never mind, this freedom will go. But you're every aspect of the dream. Every character in the dream is a part of you. It's coming out of your psyche. So it shows you aspects of yourself that you might not identify with your waking brain. The monster, you know, the scared kid, the... Okay. Tell us about devil, please. Let the cards do the talking. In traditional Rider-Waite, Lovers, Gemini, the card of connection of the twins, and the devil card are the inverse. I mean, they're the exact same card, except in devil card, they're chained, both parties are chained to the pedestal upon which the devil sits. They're stuck. You know, they're allowing themselves to be, they're the devil's bitch. They're codependent with something, with each other. And the Lover's card is the inverse. Doesn't have the devil on the pedestal. It has Archangel Michael, I think it is, blessing the couple, blessing them on their way, you know, out of Garden of Eden into the world. The devil energy is stuck. Okay, sorry, you know, I know I go slowly, but sometimes it just is a way to let the next thing in. Tell us about the Ace of Swords, the truth, please. Tell us the truth. It's clarity. It's, you know, an enlightenment that puts you in a new place. Okay, here's the new place. Nine of Pentacles. It's a card of personal abundance and self-esteem. Pentacles speak to worth and real stuff. You know, it's not about ideas or intention or whatever. It's about the earthly stuff. It's this energy. Capricorn is an earth sign. Capricorn is grounded and hardworking. And this is somebody who perhaps has gained, you know, they can take care of themselves. So they have self-esteem. And because they have self-esteem, they can, you know, it's this loop. They can take care of themselves. You know, without needing it from an external source. They have it within because they've dealt with their shadow. So they're whole. When you have the devil energy and the lover's energy, one beneath the other, that's actually balance. That's the light and the dark. If you think you can get into this kind of energy with somebody, you know, this intimate connection where you're yin-yang, where there is a sense of completion because you're both whole. If you think you can do this without having done the work of Capricorn, which is how do I detach healthily? How do I see the world from a point of detachment in the sense of sort of the Buddhist? You know, get the dog out of the game and look at it. It's also a card of single person. It's a card of Virgo. And in Major Arcana, Hermit is Virgo. Is also the single person who knows themselves, who's good in themselves, you know, who uses themselves as a sounding board. Hermit. I get the wisdom inside, the inner wisdom, right? So there's singlehood coming hot on the heels of this, the whole connection, shadow and, because in that lover's energy, in that kind of relationship, you trigger each other, you're bound to. And up comes shadow for you into the that real realm, that pentacles realm, where you can deal with it. And this is the opposite of codependence. So I think it's saying this is a connection. You maintain your independence within the connection. Not codependent. Okay, too, because you've done the work. You know, this is Capricorn energy. This is working hard. And right at the moment, she's sitting in a chair. There's all this stuff, stacks of papers, a bunch of food. You know, she's done the work of the body and the work of the brain. And this has taken the pause. And I think there's a candle. Yeah, there's a candle. She might even be holding the candle. I think she's holding the candle. Pentacles speak to time. You know, the candle is burning. This isn't a no-time realm. This is sort of the realm of the real, where you have to sing for your supper. But part of the work, the big-time work, is illuminating. See all through this, these rays of light. Surrounded by light and by, it's both what this individual has worked for, kind of in cooperation with the Creator. I mean, what do we do that's not in cooperation with the Creator? You know, even in our sadness, even in our denial, we're still in relationship. Even if we're pissed and we don't believe there's anything out there that cares about us, or in here. That out there idea is just really bugs me. Okay, so under Four of Cups, Seven of Wands. This protective bubble. It's a meditation bubble. But it involves, in this case, ignoring these swords that are, the wands that are coming at them, that might burst the bubble. But when you're meditating, usually you're not, you know, see, she's like got the hands are meditating, but the head is like looking away. I'm ignoring this. It's a card often of how do we deal with blockages and things that come at us. And this is sort of, I'll maintain this meditative pose, but I'll ignore it. You know, if you've ever done meditation, it's all about, you know, my foot's asleep, my back hurts, what about the mortgage, and, you know, and who's he face, and what the kids said. I mean, it's just bing, 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 bing. Your mind is going every which way. And you're trying to calm down, not by shadowing them. You just let it roll. You let them poke, you let them prod, you let this stuff, but the idea is you let it go. You kind of say, yes, I see you. Welcome, old friend. And then you let it pass through you. Because if you resist it, it gets stuck. This is a card of resistance a lot of the time. So, and the other one that popped out was Temperance. Fire energy. Wands are fire energy. This is a card of Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. And these are the wands coming at this person. And I think it's sort of like to preserve their personal power. They've got to protect it from these other concerns. Wands are your power, your mojo, your life force. So somebody's been guarded, but in a way that they're trying to tap into their own seeing. not into things outside the bubble that right now are coming. Somebody's, I mean, there's been something in this relationship that's involved this kind of everybody's in the mix, too many people, too many directions. And this is the person reacting by protecting themselves. Maybe by doing their work, 8 of Pentacles. But whatever it is, 8 to the 9 of Pentacles, they've done the work and they're seeing the fruits of their labor, which is their independence. And the independence, the singlehood, the I'm good on my own, brings in the twin. Doesn't mean another, if you're a woman, a man, it could be same sex, it could be not about that kind of connection, it could be a different kind of connection, but it's authentic. This is Sagittarius, the blend, the synthesis, divine timing, the blessing, the angelic presence in our life saying, you know, it's like the cake is done, ding, the bread has risen or whatever. Tell us a little bit more about Devil. I mean, I think we've got to take a look at what was the shadow, please. Because these other people's concerns kept you focused on the lack of love. Tell us about Devil, please. Doesn't want to tell us about Devil. Okay, we got a bunch. Okay, good. Here we have a card of communication and flow. Ace of Wands, a lot of fire energy that's significant in this reading. So far, fire and earth. This is the flow. This is communication, back and forth dialogue. You know, this kind of energy. Kind of moving out of this kind of energy. Having done the shadow work. And part of the shadow work is always bring it up, you know, get it up from the unconscious where you can deal with it. Talk about it. If you want to be in a lover's Gemini relationship with somebody, you've got to be able to get it up and out. You know, you cannot work with attachments or dark stuff until it's where you can get your mitts on it. And then, by the grace of whatever, acknowledge those rejected parts of yourself and become whole. Communication is huge. Okay. Followed by 9 of Wands. Again, this protective Wands energy. Somebody taking a stand, setting up a boundary. Nobody will put out my light. She, if you can even see her face, she's kind of given the viewer, whoever's on the other side of the fence, like side eye, like stink eye. You know, it's like a warning. Now, in traditional Rider-Waite, this is the wounded warrior. Somebody has survived something. And it hasn't been easy, and they've had to put up a boundary. You know, this is the point you shall not pass. So that's interesting. 8 of Pentacles to 9 of Pentacles. I'm sorry, 8 of Wands to 9 of Wands. But we also had right here on the board 8 of Pentacles to 9 of Pentacles. Those sequential numbers in numerology, as I understand it, which is not very well, mean you're on the right track. You know, things are actually moving forward. So maybe this discussion will be about the boundaries. You know, why was there a need to put up boundaries? was somebody guarding and saying, I don't want to communicate, step back. You know, step back, Jack. There's a little bit of that. Six of Cups. This is that cups are connection and feeling. Lover's card. It's an air sign, but it's about connection and true connection, authentic connection. It's 6 in the major arcana, 6 of Cups in the minor arcana. Both speak to, you know, this can be a past life connection or somebody you've loved ever so long, you know, from youth to old age. The loyalty, the warmth, the love. The love, baby. Okay. Queen of Swords. The one who calls bull, calls the code. I mean, that's not all she does, but she's clear. And she'll use her sword for truth. And if the truth is something's unhealthy, or she thinks somebody's lying to her, it's kind of off with your head time. She can be harsh to the point of being a bitch, but usually with a very good cause, because there's been an untruth that's been hurtful. You know, swords are about speech, about what's right, knowing the truth, seeing things clearly, and she'll call it if she sees, you know, she'd be very happy to set up a boundary. She doesn't have a problem with boundaries. But when it comes to communication, yeah, down for that. She's a sword energy. She's a clear thinker. She's smart. She, he, they, them, you know, please, again, put in the gender of your choice. This is how it resonates with you, right? The whole script could be backwards. But this is the communication part, but heartfelt. You know, nobody is bullshitting in this. There's no BS in this conversation. And I think the boundaries that were up through the conversation, clarity will come. Truth will be spoken. And the boundaries can come down. This is an important relationship. Lovers, 6 of Cups. Hierophant. Hierophant. You know, this is to me, very like Hermit, which we haven't seen, but I think we talked about, because the 9 of Pentacles was out, the minor arcana expression of Hermit energy in everyday life, which is know yourself. It's the inner wisdom. This is another earth sign. This is Taurus. This is the one who ascends from the world into the light, like Hermit. They're both cards of ascension. Hermit goes up the mountain and actually comes back down. But this is sort of the back down. You can see the stairs. This is the back down into the material world. As a teacher, you know, the Hermit goes up with the lantern, the light, and when you come down off that mountain, you're enlightened. You are the light. God within, right? You, in traditional Rider-Waite, there's an element in this card of tradition, of a rigid belief system. You know, and it can be a card of marriage, the sanction of the church kind of thing. This guy looks too happy to be under any suppressive belief system. What he's discovered, he, she, they, again, there it is. What this person has discovered, you know, in their ascension is joy. It's not the rigid kind of obey the rules, goose step your way into paradise. It's inside you. Sorry, I don't know if you can see. I have bug bites. I have like 14 bug bites on my... Be in joy. You know, screw the bug bites. Bug bites are like this. You know, this is something that can be worked out. Always. 5, speak to the need for change. And this is the struggle to do it. Wands energy. Do it. But right now, everybody's doing something different. And I think it might be that this kind of group thing we talked about, group mind, is because there's a codependency. It's actually a toxic thing to be that entangled. But there's a new way of looking at it. It involves spiraling in, spiraling back out. Enlightened now, bringing light into the world. Light into the world. You know, no pressure, but you guys are healers and teachers. You just are. This card carries with it a tinge of responsibility. But it isn't heavy. Devil energy is heavy. This is light. This is joyful. Discovering the light within and then being able to share it. To teach other people how to go in. You don't teach them, oh, obey me, I'm at the top of the hierarchy. That's traditional rider way. This is the new way. Beginner's mind, a new way of thinking about it. Thinking about both sides of connection. You know, who do you love? Why do you love them? And why are you hanging on so tight? Look at the shadow. Look at what makes you feel insecure and in need of that being tethered to somebody or something. There's going to be a conversation, you know, sword energy, how you speak, that's truthful. And it's to do with this relationship. And you're going to be talking about, you know, also what cut off the communication. Why was this big boundary against talking? Queen of Swords would not like that. She's all about communication. Well, back in the flow. I mean, we have said that again and again. Again and again and again. Because you go out of the flow and then back. That's slipstream again. You can't stay in a, it's not, you know, chutes and ladders or whatever that, you know, you can't stay in slipstream in a straight line. Rivers meander, they go. They have backwaters. They have the rapids where it gets nutty. This is like rapids, sort of. Places where you run aground. Earth energy that's so grounded you can't move. Liberation looks like this. You know, the ones that light you up. The connections, the synthesis of Sagittarius, the blending of the two things. And partly what you're blending is the higher self and the self as it expresses in life, Taurus energy. And in this kind of relationship, you know, there's the blend of the two. And when you get that, you get, you know, the enlightenment of the higher self, this angelic presence, blessing the connection. I love this card. You know, it advances the cause. And it's worth it. I mean, look at it. Look what you're dealing with. Look what we're dealing with. Look what you're dealing with. You know, I don't mean to wag my finger at you, because I'm not just talking to myself here. This is a dialogue. Your energy is in the mix. And it's a beautiful energy. Full of Queen of Swords clarity. Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords. In cooperation with your higher self. And that involves cooperation or acknowledgement of, or working with in a Capricorn way, what holds you back so you can ascend. I mean, Taurus, Sagittarius, Gemini, Capricorn are the major arcana. We got our work cut out for us, but man, the payoff. Pentacles speak to value. There's great value in this. The struggle, 5 of Wands, is worth it. The rewards are, you know, divinely blessed connection with the higher power and the other person. Sign me up.